Hello everybody and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms. Say hi, guys.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I have something I want to talk about. So, people like rabbits, right? They're cute, they're adorable, they're cuddly.
Yeah, like 80-20, I like them.
I think most people like rabbits.
Well, not Elmer Fudd. Well, 50% of the time.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
So I have sort of a problem with rabbits. I mean, I still like rabbits. Don't get me wrong. They're kind of hard to dislike. But I work the night shift sometimes, and I walk home from work, like, when it's dark outside. And I walk down this trail. It's a paved trail with, like, grass on either side. And it's the summer right now, so there's, like, a lot of rabbits. And they come out at night. And the thing is, they stand, like, incredibly still at night. And when I'm walking on the trail, they stand on the sides of the trail, and they don't move until I'm, like, right next to them.
So you get they give you a jump scare.
They startle me, because I don't know they're there, and then they move.
It's probably a little ironic, right? Like, because the reason they're moving is that you have startled them, but...
Yeah, but it's, like, it's annoying that they don't notice me before I'm right next to them.
I think animals don't understand, like, paths and roads and things, because... I felt the same way. Like, I went upstate New York, like a more rural area over the weekend. And as I was driving, I was like, saw on the side of the road, I'm like, oh, there's a young deer. I should watch out. And, I slowed down a little bit. But as I approached, it looked like it was just hanging out standing still, no problem. And like the second I got into the exact wrong distance, it was like, time to bolt. And I had to like slam on my brakes. I'm like, there's no one else here. This is the wide open road. You have complete visibility.
You should have seen this coming.
Why would you try to cross right in front of me?
Right. Well, I think with deer, it's because your headlights, they like the light, so they like try to cross when there's light.
See, I always figured it was because they don't know they were actually coming towards, like, they figure if they just stay really still, you'll stop coming towards them, like you won't notice them. And it's only when you get close and you're like a threat, they move.
That could be it.
That could be it.
It's still very annoying.
Like 90% of the time, these rabbits go the opposite. They go away from me. But, like, every once in a while, they go onto the trail, and I almost step on them. It's very annoying. I'm like, one of these days, I'm going to kick a rabbit accidentally, and I'm going to feel terrible.
I've actually definitely had that when I'm out running, and squirrels will, like, run across the path in front of me as they, like, jump towards a tree, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm going right by, come on. Just give me a second.
Chris, I think you're missing an opportunity, because if I had all these rabbits, and as I like to think of them as tiny chickens, going on either side of the road in very nearby to me every night, I would just start carrying a little stick with like maybe a little hammer at the end of it. And then when you see the rabbit and he's not moving, and you have to practice a little bit so you can see them since they don't scare you. But then you just go over there and you just give a little bop. You get another little bop, pick them up, grab a couple of rabbits. You have rabbit stew for lunch tomorrow. Save money.
I'm not a monster.
That's not a monster thing to do. People make rabbit stew. This is how we eat, Chris. You're not even a vegetarian. You can't take this moral high ground that you're not going to kill a rabbit.
Yeah, well, I can take the wimpy high ground. I don't want to kill an animal.
Oh yeah, well, if you're scared of rabbits, I guess you are too scared to kill them.
I am scared of rabbits. I mean, they have like dead eyes that just stare
I
at
will
you.
say that like this idea of like a dark path that is just like lined with rabbits standing there sounds absolutely terrifying to me.
And the thing is, I don't every night I forget they're there.
This seems like you're doing a lot of things wrong before the rabbits are doing one thing wrong.
This is true. So, some of the blame is yours, Chris.
Like, one, you're not ready for any rabbit interactions.
One, I'm not bringing a weapon.
Because you're not ready, you're not expecting them. If you were expecting them, it wouldn't be a problem. And yeah, three, if you're not having a weapon, you don't feel safe, and they're going to scare you. So now, I'm on the rabbit side on this one, Chris. I'm sorry.
I mean, I've seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I know what rabbits can do.
Well, that one rabbit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I have to go on. I don't know anything else about rabbits.
I have not seen...
You have to trust that any rabbit could be that rabbit, Marcus.
Yeah. How do I know it's not?
Yeah. See, rabbits are too uninteresting for David Attenborough to talk about them, so I don't think I know any rabbit facts either.
Yeah.
I know they jump really high. We did that with the You Are What You Eat episode. We talked about eating rabbits and jumping real high. So I know they could jump 20 feet in the fucking air, which might be a little scary.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
I don't think they're jumping 20 feet in the air, are they, Chris?
I know they're smarter than ducks.
Are we back to Elmer Fudd, or else? Because otherwise, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I just like there's a non sequitur as well, but
No, Non Sequitur was a different show.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Anyhow, we're here to answer hypothetical questions. And speaking of rabbits disappearing off the path, what if all plastic disappeared? So I'm going to start with this question. Plastics is actually kind of a fuzzy term. Like a lot of things, the actual dictionary definition of plastics is anything that can deform and then return to its shape. But that's not really what plastics are. We're talking like produced plastics made by, man-made plastic, polymers.
I think people know basically what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but some people might get technical, like us and myself.
Us and also myself.
And so what I did was I kind of just looked at how this plastic is going to send us back to like the fucking dark ages, because basically in our society, plastic is so integrated, everything breaks. Let's start with electricity. So damn near every single wire everywhere, that little rubber plastic coating around it is plastic. It's similar to PVC. So basically all the wiring everywhere is now going to connect and just fry itself out. So basically day one immediately, no electricity, everything goes out. Probably a lot of electrical fires.
Because everything's just going to like short out immediately.
Yeah, it's not going to be great to start. And even if the actual electrical power wasn't problematic for all these electronics, fiberglass is actually made up of plastic with glass fibers in it. And circuit boards for all electronics are made out of fiberglass. So instead of being a nice mesh of glass fibers and plastic, it turns into just free-floating glass fibers and no plastic.
So no electronics of any kind.
Yeah. We're already back a few years.
Yeah, that was really quick.
Next thing, going back a little further, cars, also not good. Most of the body made of plastic. And I didn't go through too many car schematics to find out exactly which bits of cars are made of plastic that keep all the engines and things running. But I imagine they gotta be somewhere.
I feel like if nothing else, there's going to be like things that seal things that no longer are sealed that should definitely be sealed in a car.
Your gas cap is gone.
Ah, shit. You're gonna get that engine light. Well, no, you're not gonna get the engine light.
There is no engine light.
The wiring is fried. And so I was like thinking maybe there's like just the frame of a car, like a go-kart type thing left, but like not even. So now we're back to like horse and buggies, which we don't have too many of anymore. We got some horses around, but not enough.
The Amish are kings.
Another nice modern invention is gonna be plumbing.
That's important.
I like plumbing.
I do too.
A lot of pipes and plumbing are PVC, guys. Two important ones in the house are the drainage pipes for, say, your toilet. So we gonna have a poop problem.
As always.
Yay. I think last episode we didn't have a poop problem, so yay.
It's definitely a poop problem, and it's not like your toilet's going to work anyway, because one of the most common uses of PVC pipes in the home, because, if you open your wall, a lot of them are metal, like the hot water pipes have to be copper, but the main feed into a house is almost always PVC.
So no rainwater.
No electricity, no running water, no cars. Oh, guys, what are your shirts made out of right now? Is it maybe polyester? Because it's probably polyester.
I think this one's mostly cotton.
In your face, Marcus.
Yeah, see, you would think, like, that it wouldn't be, like, a lot of clothes are cotton. Not so much nowadays. So back in 2003 was when it was 50-50 cotton clothes versus polyester clothes. Now, it's like 80-20, 85-15 towards polyester.
So a lot of people are just going to be naked.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of clothes problems. So not only do we not have any power, any plumbing, any cars, we also don't have any clothes.
You're talking about a lot of the, like, necessities of life.
Yeah, we are going to have to do some jungle booking because we will have only the bare necessities.
We're going to put the bear in bare necessities.
Yeah, except we're going to have problems there too, because one very important function that plastic serves is food packaging. So the numbers are tough to get on this. But you can maybe say the argument that, all the plastic's gone, it's going to be kind of good for the environment. Not in the case of food, because producing food actually has 10 times the environmental impact that wrapping it in plastic does. So basically, the benefit of having the food get from the farm to the supermarkets without going bad and having time to sit on the shelf and get sold is like super good for the environment compared to the food just spoiling and us having to make more steaks and, do all the rigmarole to get it into its produced state again. And honestly, I don't think like our food distribution system works at all if we don't have like the plastic containment. Because,
yeah, we rely a lot on just like preservatives and packaging.
Because it can take weeks for like quote unquote fresh meat to get from, where they slaughter the animal to the supermarkets. And not only is the actual plastic wrap not going to work, also like all the refrigeration stuff, a lot of plastic in those components. So we're going to have a food problem. We're going to have to really go like farm to table, and we're really not well equipped to get that done.
Particularly us here, like in a city, it's not going to go very well for us.
Yeah.
Once again, go Amish.
And if you're
They're fine.
And if you're
they don't notice.
Yeah, do the Amish have plastic things?
There's some stuff. I know the Amish do accept certain technologies. Like each technology that comes out gets reviewed by the Amish people, and then they, on a case-by-case basis, allow certain technologies in or out based on how it affects their society.
What is like the criteria for that?
I remember like reading this months ago, but I believe it's basically they look at it and they're like, they don't like, for example, cell phones because it takes away from like the social interactions and like going out and, you know, getting to know the people around you. So basically if they can find a social reason why it's not going to be good for the Amish people, they remove it. So they try to just protect that close-knit community. Like they're not going to turn down like plastic tools and like things that are just like
sporks.
Regular hand tools, but better.
So that they like sporks.
Yeah, they would probably have sporks. Although, I think that is just a socially unacceptable item to have in your house, so I don't think they would accept sporks. Oh, one more thing. Travel is going to be kind of tough for specifically highways and bridges. So, highways and bridges are typically reinforced with rebar. And in the highways and bridges, that concrete is exposed to a lot of weather, elements, wear and tear. So what they do is they put an epoxy coating around all the reinforcing steel that's in the concrete to keep it strong. But that epoxy coating is made of plastic. So what happens is that plastic goes around. There's now a gap between the concrete and the steel. And now the concrete's no longer gripping the steel. And all the structural support from that steel is gone. So all the highways are going to be completely just cracked and unusable. And all the bridges are probably going to collapse.
So I thought you were going to say that the water is going to get in, it's going to corrode the rebar. But no, it's just going to slip out because there's a gap.
Yeah, it's immediately problematic.
I actually have some more road facts as well once we get to my segment.
But really, of all the modern conveniences, the one thing that I'm going to miss the most personally is that one thing that's made out of plastic is nonstick pans, the nonstick coating on nonstick pans.
The Teflon.
Yeah, cannot fucking live without nonstick pans. I think like that Teflon shit is the greatest thing since sliced bread and is completely underappreciated. Like, you probably don't even remember it because all my shit's nonstick, but like you put it in the sink and you scrub once with a sponge around, it's like, oh, this is already basically clean, but I guess I'll scrub it a couple more times for good measure.
Just for looks.
To appear busy.
Like, I can't remember the last time I actually had to soak like a pot, unless it was like an old casserole dish that was like, you know, or glass or something. So that's my personal demon here.
That's the line that cannot be crossed.
Yeah, I cannot deal without nonstick pans.
No plumbing, no food, no clothes, you can live with all that, but no Teflon pans.
Yeah, fuck, it's gonna be terrible. So, yeah, that's all the bad stuff that can happen. Ben, do you have any more bad stuff, or do you have good stuff, or what do you got?
So I did look into good stuff, but most of it was going to be involved in the, you know, hey, all this plastic that's clogging up landfills is gone.
Yay!
Which, I mean, it's good. There's like, almost 5 billion tons of plastic waste in landfills or something like that is what I saw. So, like, that's cool and all, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of, I don't think it really outweighs the other situation we've gotten into. So
it's good for the ocean though, right? The ocean?
It is good. Like, it's not all bad. One other way that it is bad that's kind of fun, that is a little more, it's not quite as widespread as yours, but it's more that I found it and it seemed really cool and I wanted to talk about, so I'm going to, is that polymerized roads are a thing. So basically they use like a plastic material to strengthen tar roads. They like pre-mix it with a polymer. So it's not like all roads by any stretch of the imagination because it's more expensive. It's about 30 to 50% more expensive than a regular road.
Oh, so no roads have it.
Well, not necessarily. So one, they are much more durable than standard just asphalt roads. So a lot of times major roads will do it just for, you know, it winds up paying off in the long run because if you only have to replace it, you know, a third as often, you're coming out ahead anyway. The other big thing, apparently also they might have less road noise. I saw a link to that from like some like state of Washington website, but the page had been deleted. So there may or may not be less road noise. I'm not really sure on that one.
Ben, maybe we should roleplay this. Like, I am the mayor of Hypotheticalville,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to repair a road. It's full of potholes. It's terrible. We're just replacing the whole damn thing.
You should put plastic in it.
Why?
It's more expensive.
It's not in the budget.
Shit. So we've
Are
reached...
there any benefits to it?
Well, so actually, there was one other main bit of it. Apparently, it is pretty widely used in the Middle East.
It's not in the budget.
We have left the hypothetical. We're back in our regularly scheduled hypotheticals. No more of this sub-hypothetical bullshit.
Ben, roleplay with me. I like being mayor. It's very easy.
Please never, ever utter the words roleplay with me to me again.
Are we still roleplaying, or are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Tell it to the mayor.
Oh, god damn it. All right. Anyway, they use it on roads in the Middle East because standard asphalt roads will start buckling around 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And these will go up to like 150. So once again, it winds up being beneficial in the long run. Just, eat the extra cost because your road won't just warp in the summer.
And it won't melt people's tires. Jesus.
Also that, yeah. So specifically, let's dig in a little bit on India now. So India has a lot of roads. It's about the third largest road network in the world. It's like 4.5 million kilometers of roads. They also have lots of accidents. It's like 480,000 per 100,000 inhabitants in 2016. Second only to Japan.
So 480,000 accidents per 100,000 residents?
Yeah.
So 4.8 accidents per person each year?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What?
Yep. What? And these are actually, by the way, these are apparently, hold on, wait, that can't be right. Because these are accidents involving casualties, and that math doesn't work out. What am I missing here?
They die 4 times a year.
Yes.
Yeah, they die 4.8 times a year, Chris. The fifth one wasn't in the budget.
I think it also included just injury to one party involved. Or maybe it was total, I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, it's
a high
let's just
number.
say the second most, yeah. Second most, and the third most was Germany with like 2/3 as much. So it's a pretty big gap. And apparently, from a 2012 report from an Indian governmental agency, around 10% of those are because of potholes. There's a very large pothole problem in India. India also produces a lot of plastic waste. It's something like 16,500 tons per day, and about 6,500 tons of that is not recycled. Also, side note, it's really annoying that tons, TONNES, metric tons, is not the same thing as our tons. And also, they're still very close.
Also, there's long tons and short tons.
Yeah, tons are really confusing. We should abolish them and just make 1 ton.
Yeah, we gotta worry about units so we don't say things like, people die 4.8 times a year due to car accidents in
I am
India.
going to look that one up in the break before the next question and correct this or confirm this. Because I definitely read this on like a legitimate website with like tables and shit. So I'm going to figure this one out in the break.
It's got pie charts. It has to be true.
It was a filterable thing. It looked legit. I'll figure it out.
Numbers.
Anyway, to solve this plastic waste and bad road problem, and this is the part of this answer where you're going to get to hear me try to pronounce Indian names. So have fun with this. In 2002, shit.
Good job.
Messed up the year. Sorry, it was 2008 in English.
2002,
the Indian pronunciation.
Rajakapalan Vasudevan, a chemistry professor at Thiagaraj College of Engineering and Madurai, I think I got some of that right,
Good.
basically developed a technique where he would shred plastic waste and sprinkle over hot gravel to basically make polymerized bonding, and then put that in asphalt and make roads out of that. It actually works incredibly well. It's like as durable as the other like regular polymerized roads, but it costs about 8% less than a standard road. So it's actually less expensive.
I thought you were going to say 8% less than the whole process. I'm like, he's not doing great.
Nope. 8% than standard road. Each kilometer of road uses about 1 million plastic bags, like the equivalent of that in scrap plastic. So it definitely like uses up that plastic very well. They're also testing a new version that's going to use road scrap instead of new asphalt that should reduce the construction costs by like 50%. And in 2015, the Indian government actually mandated that all of their new road construction would use this waste plastic method. And they committed about $11 billion of funding to the project.
Ooh, that's gonna be an unfortunate budget decision come the plastic disappearance.
And as of, I think it was like, the article I was reading was from like the middle of last year, about 100,000 kilometers of new road have been constructed with this method there. And then also, there's other plastic roads as well, as we mentioned, that are sort of spreading as they're needed. So
India would be in trouble.
India would be in a lot of trouble, and just sporadically, like, I guess the Middle East in general apparently would be in a lot of trouble road-wise. The roads just kind of fall apart.
Well, that's not super new.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, that's true.
We don't want to raise the casualty rate from car accidents.
Right, yeah, they can't afford it.
Yeah, I don't want to die 5.5 times a year.
Yeah, that's too many.
I am going to fact check that one.
You better fucking fact check that one.
I will have an answer post ad break, don't worry. But yeah, so basically, it's entirely possible that a decent chunk of roads would just basically become a bunch of gravel, which isn't really ideal. So, yeah. So what do you have, Chris?
So, both of you kind of looked at, like, stuff that would kill people. A lot of people would die. I mean, I didn't necessarily go, like, a positive route, but mine's a lot less deadly, which is a good thing.
That's good.
So my point of view was that if this happens, if you're a kid, it's really going to suck because most toys are made of plastic. So they're just going to be like no toys.
Ooh, that's sad. That's sad, Chris.
So yeah, I know. I mean, no one's dying, so it's okay.
Also, why just kids? A lot of adult toys are made of plastic.
Yeah, you got a point.
Okay.
Man's got a
So
point.
every time you mention like a kid's toy, just amend and also dildos.
Hey,
Sure.
everything is broken. We need to pass the time somehow, Chris.
Yeah, so, looking at toys, I looked up a top 10 list of toys from Time, and these would just be things that we wouldn't have anymore, which would be very sad. I'm not going to go through all of them because some of them are less interesting than others, but the first one is the Lego Boost Creative Toolbox, which
number is this?
This is number 10.
Okay, number 10.
So it's like a 5-in-1 Lego set, and you can build 5 different things with the same pieces.
Oh.
And it's actually has like mechanical pieces too, and like a sensor, so you can control it with a tablet.
What?
That's cool.
Chris, how much is it?
It's
I want it
actually
already.
pretty expensive. It's $160.
Oh, fuck that.
Legos in general are pretty expensive anyway, so.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way as a kid. Actually, I didn't learn it the hard way as a kid. I learned it the hard way as an adult. Like, as a kid, you can't buy, like, any toys yourself. Like, you sometimes get to splurge, but it's, like, not a real monetary exchange because you have, like, birthday money or something and you buy, like, one thing.
Yeah.
As an adult, it's like, I want to buy a whole lot of Legos, but, like, the amount of Legos that I would need to entertain myself as an adult is, like, $300.
Yeah. So the 5 things that you can build with this are actually pretty cool. One of them is a robot, and it has like a little dart gun thing on it that has a motion sensor on it, so it shoots when there's motion. You can build a cat, which has a sensor in its mouth, which can like detect different colors, and then it comes with a harmonica with different colors, and you can like move it around its mouth, and it plays different notes.
Also, it claws anything it sees with its motion sensor.
Yeah. There's like a cart robot thing, which is kind of cool. There is a guitar, and the last one is actually really cool. It's like a self-building machine thing, so like it can build other Legos.
What? Wait, what? No, stop.
It's a plan for Legos to take over the world by building more Legos.
Yeah. So it's like a conveyor belt, and it has a conveyor belt thing on the bottom, and there's like an arm piston sort of thing that goes up and down, and you can program it to move the conveyor belt in certain ways, and then the arm picks up Legos and builds it. So you can program it to build different Legos.
I want it. I really want it. Chris, I don't like, it's so sad. I know you have like 5 more things in this list to get through, but can we I just want this now.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Can we take a break?
I don't know why this is number 10. This is like definitely up. It's higher than 10, definitely. It's better than a lot of these things on this list. I'm going to skip 9 and 8 because they are not great.
They're both dildos. We know.
Yes. Number 7 is the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah, that's an electronic, huh?
Yeah, it's an electronic.
Damn it.
Yeah, so basically any like video game console is not going to exist.
But how am I going to get my Super Mario Bros. Fix? I want to jump on mushrooms.
I mean, you can just jump on
do that,
mushrooms.
yeah.
That's the thing you can do. Just find some mushrooms.
and jump on them.
But it's not the same. They don't go blue and they don't like drop a coin.
I mean, clearly you can make that sound very well on your own, and you can just carry a coin or toss it in the air.
You can just like throw coins.
That was not a good impression of the Mario jumping on a Goomba sound.
Blue. Number 6 is
I'm sorry, it's like a Goomba with like a mouthful of water. He's like just taking a sip. It's like
Yeah, it's a Goomba doing a spit take.
It did sound like a Mario sound. It's just not what you meant it to be. Yeah, so number 6 is Star Wars Droid Inventor Kit, which is basically you build R2-D2 and he like moves around and stuff. So Star Wars, anything Star Wars related is good.
Wait, how did R2-D2 get higher than BB-8?
BB-8 is not on this list.
BB-8 fucking blows my mind as a toy. Like how that thing works, I don't know.
Well, this is specifically from 2017.
BB-8 should be the top toy since like 2000 whatever when that first movie came out. 15?
I think it's toys that came out in 2017. I think that's what this list is.
It's okay. I'm already upset with this list.
Okay. Number 5, Hatchimals. I don't know if you've seen these around anywhere, but they're basically like mechanical stuffed animals that they start in an egg and they break themselves out of the egg. They hatch themselves.
Someone made analog Tamagotchis?
Yeah, that's actually in the description here.
Wow.
That's
how they describe it.
It's like Tamagotchis, but bigger?
Yep, that's basically what it is. But they're super popular, and there are a lot of plastic parts in it, so... Number 4 is kind of interesting. It's called LOL Surprise.
I don't want to know this one in particular. If you could just skip the LOL Surprise, my brain is gonna be better without that information.
Do you already know what it is?
No.
I think he just does not want to.
I'm very scared.
So it's actually not. It's kind of lame actually, but it's basically like a very cheaply made little doll thing. But it's packaged in such a way that you can like unwrap it like a present like 7 times. So there's like different layers of packaging and you keep on unwrapping it and like revealing different parts of the doll.
Huh. Okay, I'll buy it. Not physically,
literally,
like
but...
not actually, but I buy the concept exists
you
as a
said
thing.
you'd buy it, you have to buy it now.
It's legally binding. Sorry, Marcus.
I don't have any money. I spent it all on 10 5-in-1 kits and now I have a 50-in-1. They're building each other as we speak.
Speaking about 50-in-1. The big version of the LOL Surprise has 50 dolls, or 50 prizes in it.
What?
Okay, that's a big enough number that I'm excited again.
Right?
I think it costs like a ton. How much does it cost? Let's see. Okay, it did not bring me to the store page. Oh, it costs $150.
Jesus.
It's only $3 a thing.
Yeah, good deal.
That's like cheaper than Legos. Legos are like $5 a pop nowadays.
So I'm gonna skip number 3. Number 2 actually kind of upsets me that it's number 2. It's fidget spinners.
Oh.
Have you ever used a fidget spinner, Chris? That you're so down on them?
I have. I mean, you had one and I used yours.
Yeah, they're addicting and they're nice and I like them.
But it's not worth number 2. It's not worthy of number 2.
So, okay.
It's not about it being like the only toy you need. It's about it being always there and just nice.
One thing to keep in mind, Chris, is I'm assuming this is on volume sold, not like profit. And they're pretty cheap. So like, I think that just like a bunch of kids just sort of randomly got one, you know, or like 8. So
yeah, and it like went past kids, dude. Like my parents have fidget spinners.
That is distressing to know.
The thing is, kids want, like, they're like collectibles. Like, kids want them.
I don't get it.
I know my mama told me she was like visiting my uncle in Germany, and they have a couple kids. And she was like at the store, and she happened to be like at the mall and saw the fidget spinner. She's like, oh, maybe I should get them for the kids. And then she was like, okay. And she got them, and then she brought them home, and she was like, no, this is stupid. And she left them like on the windowsill. And then she went to Germany, and the first night she was there, all the kids were talking about was fucking fidget spinners, about how they wanted one, about how their dad wouldn't get them one. So she brought them. That would have been literally the only toy the kids wanted.
I guess they're cheap, which is why they're on the list.
Yeah, they're a stocking stuffer.
But, I mean, I would much rather have number 10 on this list.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the meat of it. What's number 1? Number one toy, 2017.
You're probably super excited because you're going to think it's, like, amazing. I actually don't know why... So it's like less exciting than fidget spinners.
Well, that's a good way to sell it, Chris.
So they're called fingerlings.
Oh, I heard about these fucking things.
Is this a little finger puppet that goes on your finger?
Yeah. It's like a monkey that grabs onto your finger and it like interacts with you sort of. It like reacts to noise and stuff and like you can pet it and it reacts. Which is it's kind of cool, I guess, but
Actually, yeah, that does sound cool.
That is cooler than I thought it was.
I don't know, number one.
Dude, it interacts. Like, if Tamagotchi was the top of the list, I wouldn't be surprised. And Tamagotchi is like a little tiny screen with like a thing that dies.
Well, the real version of Tamagotchi is on this list. It's number 5, Hatchimals. That's way cooler than the fingerlings.
So the fingerling reacts to it being like rubbed and stuff, right?
So I think you can rub its head. If you like blow a kiss to it, it kisses you back.
Chris is a sex toy, you idiot. That's why it's got so much appeal.
Yeah.
I fooled you. You said it. You said one. When you rub its back, it vibrates. I don't know why it's so popular.
I did see there's like a dinosaur version of this, which is it's a lot cooler, I think.
Dinosaur things are generally cooler than non-dinosaur things. I would agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the list. Kind of anticlimactic with the last one, I would say. But all these things would not exist if plastic didn't exist, because all these things are made of plastic. Mostly plastic.
Mostly plastic.
Predominantly
you would have
plastic.
Legos would be completely gone, which is the upsetting bit.
That's very upsetting.
Yeah.
Of things that I am sure are 100% plastic, Legos are at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to move on to the next part of our podcast, which will be the question, which cereal mascot would win in a fight? But before we do that, I think going through all these advertisements for all these cereals and how they market them, I think we can do a better job. So do you guys want to join me in doing our own cereal ads?
Of course.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Everyone could use a healthier start to their day, and the healthiest start possible starts with a heaping bowl of maple crunchies. Tastes just like maple because it is just maple. Only the highest grade maple wood chips are put into maple crunchies, and not a single other ingredient. Maple crunchies are the only low-calorie, low-sodium, high-fiber, fat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, hormone-free, soy-free, cholesterol-free, cage-free, non-GMO cereal available. Just $11.99 a box at your favorite health food store.
Who says cereal is only for breakfast? Not us. We've partnered with Michelin star chefs all around the world to bring your favorite dinner flavors to a milky bowl of wonder. Try our cereal classics such as steak flakes with real meat and cow-shaped marshmallows, spaghetti and Meatos, makes the milk taste like marinara, honey bunches of roast, beef, try it with milk or gravy. Turn off the oven and grab yourself a bowl, cause dinner cereal is here to stay.
Buckle your seatbelts and brace for impact. Sugar Crash is here. It's the breakfast cereal that teaches your kids the consequences of reckless driving, all while providing them with a short-lived burst of energy to start their day. Enjoy the destructive crunch as you bite down on each car-shaped oat. Watch in horrified amazement as the driver-shaped marshmallows transform your milk into delicious red blood. Listen to the crackling car fire of toasted rice popping in your bowl. Our special recipe includes 200 grams of refined sugar per serving, just enough to get you through your morning commute. Sugar Crash. Energy now, crash later, and car safety.
Oh man, those were some tasty sounding cereals, guys. Good job. Before we start the next question, Ben, you had a fact check to do?
Yeah, so I had a fact check in the break as well. So it turns out India has 480,652 accidents per 1 million inhabitants, which is still mind-bogglingly large, but not unsustainable. So,
Well, I mean, it's per year, right?
yeah.
So you can't go, odds are you can't go 2 consecutive years without getting into a car accident.
That kills
that's
you.
That's what it sounds like. That kills someone.
So don't go to India.
Or possibly, I think it also included just injuries as well. Basically, you will be in a injury-causing car accident on average, like every other year.
I mean, it's better than your other thing.
Yeah, which was
Yeah,
4
it's better
times
than-
per year. So
Yeah, it's better than 10 times that number.
exactly. So orders of magnitude are fun, guys. Just keep the right ones. Anyway,
Question number 2. Which cereal mascot would win in a fight? To the death.
Dun dun dun!
I was considering I was considering doing the dun dun dun. But I'm glad you got to it because I couldn't decide was going to do it or not. So
I like how that like 30 seconds of audio was just Ben trying to catch up to the conversation.
Yep, little slow today.
Anyhow, first before we get anywhere, we have to set the stage. We needed to select. Each of us needed to select a cereal mascot.
Choose your fighter.
So do you guys want to just say it right away, or do you guys want to do them out and lay out the battleground?
Let's do them as we go, and we'll say the battleground at the end because I feel like it kind of gives away the fighters a little bit.
Yeah, that's
probably.
true.
Yeah, we had a weird combination of things we needed to get going to be a fair fight. Anyhow, Chris, why don't you start us off with the cereal mascot that you thought would win in a fight?
So, fighter number 1, I had Count Chocula.
Not a bad choice.
I know. Out of all the cereal mascots, he's probably one of the top ones. So, obviously he's a vampire, but just based on his name, you'd probably think he's like Dracula, but he's actually not Dracula. Like, in one of the commercials, it had the real Dracula, so they're two separate people.
Just, guys, to avoid confusion, Count Chocula is not Dracula.
Just in case you need clarification on that. And instead of blood, he prefers chocolate. That's, like, his thing. And he has a bunch of different powers. So to determine his powers, I watched a bunch of commercials on Count Chocula.
How many commercials do you think you watched, Chris?
A lot. I didn't count them, but there's like a compilation. I think it was like 20 minutes long.
Oh my God.
So I know we all watch commercials. I went on a YouTube playlist that was 111 videos long. Probably 15 or 20 of those were repeats, but I did watch a lot of commercials.
I watched maybe 10 and then jumped on a 75 commercial playlist.
There you go.
So I was real productive today when I did that.
So the first ability that he has is pretty obvious. He can turn into a bat, and that means he can fly around too. That allows him to fly. He also has telekinesis. So I actually didn't know that that's like a thing that vampires have, but he has telekinesis. He actually uses it in one of the commercials to play basketball.
The best use of telekinesis.
Oh man, commercials are so these like 90s commercials are so fucking buck wild with their plots.
Oh,
like,
they are.
What would a vampire do with telekinesis? Oh, probably play basketball to be cool with the kids.
Obviously. So he has the ability to control ghosts, which was introduced when they added ghosts to cereal. He has lightning fingers, like Emperor Palpatine style. So he can like shoot you with lightning. He can walk on water, which is very useful. His weapon of choice is a spiked mace.
Wait, what?
wait, when? Where? Who? What? How?
He has a spiked mace in like multiple commercials.
What?
I don't remember this.
Really use it for anything. He's just like holding it.
Why?
Why? Why not?
That's amazing. Okay.
Look, if you're wandering around at night, it's important to carry mace.
Yeah.
For self-defense.
Yeah, take some lessons here, Chris. Just get a mace.
Yeah.
Fend off the rabbits.
He has a crystal ball that allows him to spy on people. He actually used it to spy on Scooby-Doo and the gang.
Wait, when was Scooby-Doo fighting Chocula?
They didn't fight him. He was just spying on them. It was a brand deal. He has a guard spider named Igor.
I love this fiction so much.
He has his own castle, which is like his headquarters thing. And then his motto saying thing is, "I want to eat your cereal."
It's not.
It is.
Come on, it's not.
It is. Yeah, so that's Count Chocula. That's everything he has to work with in this fight.
All right. Want me to set myself up next?
Go for it.
The cereal mascot that I think is going to win is the one and the only Captain Crunch. And by one and only Captain Crunch, I of course mean full name Horatio Magellan Crunch. And funnily, the one thing that I came up first on all my Googling was apparently there was this huge controversy about whether he was a captain or not.
Oh yeah, because isn't his uniform like an admiral's uniform?
Yeah, so basically the number of stripes on the sleeve of the uniform indicates rank in the Navy, and his has between 1 and 3 stripes, and a captain actually has 4.
Oh.
So he's a fraud.
No, basically they released a response, like an animated response through the captain's mouth, and basically he said, "I'm a captain, find something better to do than try to look at my clothes." Like, get over it, guys. So before I get into like the actual different abilities, one thing, because I watched all these commercials, and one thing I found kind of hilarious about Captain Crunch commercials is that the main selling point back in the olden days, like 1970, like it came out in 1963. I'm not sure when the commercial started, but yeah, like the 70s, 80s. And the main thing about Captain Crunch cereal was that it stays crunchy in milk is like their big tagline. So they had to like find different ways to like turn that into like a commercial plot for kids. So I'll explain this commercial plot for you. The nemesis of Captain Crunch, Jean Lafoot, who is a pirate who goes barefoot, was in a submarine, and they were using the sonar to detect where Captain Crunch's vessel was. And one of the kids on Captain's boat was crunching down on a bowl of Captain Crunch, and they were like, "No, you have to stop eating. It's too loud." And then, like, another one of the kids come over. She's like, "Oh, I know. We'll put it in milk, and then it won't crunch anymore." And the captain's like, "Oh, no, it won't. It still won't work." And then he goes, "Wait, I have an idea." And he grabs, like, 45 boxes of Captain Crunch out of a cabinet, throws them overboard, and then a whale eats them. And then, because they're still crunchy underwater, like, the whale swims away crunching, and they're like, "I know that crunching sound," and Jean Lafoot goes to chase the whale.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Then one more commercial that I'm going to share with you. The plot of this commercial was that to showcase, it's like a news report type, small town news story. And to showcase that the Captain Crunch cereal actually stays crunchy in milk, they drained Lake Michigan, filled it with milk. Then they took the captain's boat on a crane, tied Captain Crunch to the rudder, and handed him a box of his cereal. And then the plot is that they're going to dump him in the lake for a while to show that the cereal was not going to get soggy.
This seems pretty metal.
They get very creative with their commercials. This is way more creative than Count Chocula.
I think my favorite part about this was the news reporter goes up to the captain and he's like, he's tied up and he's got the box and he's like, "Anything you want to tell the viewers before we get started?" And he's like, "Yeah, just one thing. Help!" And then they dump him in the lake. And then they just cut, and the guy's like looking at his watch, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, still crunchy." I'm like, you just tried to kill Captain Crunch, and he was obviously not okay with it.
Literally, the only premise to Count Chocula's commercials is Count Chocula and Frankenberry arguing about whether chocolate marshmallows are better than strawberry marshmallows, and that's it.
Oh my god, yeah, that's not great. I would not want to watch 60 of those commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a whole lot. They did a whole range of commercials. Like, they went and they met explorers. They, like, tried to get a recluse off an island by promising him cereal. They fought Jean Lafoot. And so, to kind of segue into the actual powers he has, they were always traveling on his boat, the SS Guppy, which is a pretty legit, like, pirate-era battleship. It's got 8 cannons. It's probably about 100 feet long. It's very tall out of the water. Like, it's not proportioned like a boat should be. But it's pretty damn big. It had its own radar with the submarine incident, so I guess they had to know the submarine was down there somehow, so they also had radar, and they were pinging off each other, and then a whale worked, I don't know. He's got a crew. He's got his buddy Sea Dog, which is the letter C for Captain-Dog.
Got it.
Is it a dog?
It is a dog. It's like a bipedal dog that's like smarter than your average dog, like a kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing if he walked on 2 legs. Relevant for our thing, he can use a sword, so don't fuck with him. And then there's also just like 4 kids between like, 6, like, maybe like 8 and 10 years old on the boat. But I'll say these kids are pretty fucking badass. Like, there was one where the boat was getting attacked by Indians, which is a sign of the times of when these commercials came out. And these 4 kids managed to fight off like probably like there was like 50 Indians. They fought off about like 12 of them, like pretty handily with like a water gun, a plunger gun, a mop, some wooden swords. Like, they were coming up in like 2s and 3s, and these kids were just like smacking them off the boat. These kids are also not above torture. There was one commercial where the captain was kidnapped by Jean Lafoot, and the kids had captured Jean Lafoot, and they were going to torture him for information, and they did tickle torture, and to bring it in the product, they used food denial by making him be like waving a bunch of cereal right in front of him. So it was actually kind of dark.
That's cruel.
And then in one commercial, like when they were fighting Jean Lafoot, the kids just hop on the boat and they're like, "Yeah!" And they all got pistols. So they're also not above just using fucking guns.
Okay.
Okay, then.
So keep an eye out for that. My boat is somewhat armed. A free target on my boat will be the Crunch Beast, who was introduced with the crunch berries, and he's like a Dr. Seussian yellow animal with big red spots, like a long snout and buck teeth, and he's kind of like a Dr. Seuss animal. So whatever your mental image of that is actually probably pretty close. He is not what you might call useful. What else do I have? Ah, yes. There's a whole series of commercials where things would happen, and he would use a gadget from his hat to save the day. So things his hat can do is he can turn his hat into a loudspeaker and then crunch down on Captain Crunch through a microphone and create sound waves. He has an Inspector Gadget type propeller in his hat. It can transform into a fishing pole or a lasso, and he can inflate it like a balloon.
I was gonna say, so like a poor man's Inspector Gadget.
I was thinking very Inspector Gadget, yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very Inspector Gadget. And do I have anything else here that would be relevant for you guys to know? Oh, Chris, you mentioned like control of ghosts. Captain Crunch also had a ghost cereal where the ghost things would turn the milk green. So he does have some control or some.
Did he control
contact.
them though? Because like Count Chocula actually controlled them in the commercial.
I did not specifically see the ghost berry commercial.
Okay.
But the box picture is Captain Crunch's hand over the bowl of cereal, like dark necromancy, with like white milk flowing from his hand and turning green as it hits the cereal bowl. And it's like, ghosts turn the milk green. So I imagine he's shooting them out of his hands, maybe?
Yeah, to me that sounds like he can turn milk green.
I can do that with enough time.
It specifically says it's ghosts are doing it. So he has control of the ghosts.
I don't know about that. That's kind of iffy to me.
So, like, if we have a ghost battle, I will say you'll have the advantage, but he has some defense. He's not completely gonna be taken aside by the Ghost Brigade.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got for Captain Crunch.
Okay, so we have Count Chocula versus Captain Crunch right now, so far.
And we have a new challenger approaches. Lucky, the Lucky Charms leprechaun. So I know, at first glance, this seems like he's not going to really hold up to a pirate with a ship and a vampire.
A naval captain, not a pirate. Jean Lafoot is the fucking pirate fan.
Excuse me. But I actually have here, so sort of the main power of Lucky is marshmallow magic. And conveniently, I have here a press release from June 9th, 2008, directly from General Mills. Entitled, and this sort of is where I sort of sourced the main part of his powers, is from this press release. The title is, Lucky announces the power to control time with new Marshmallow Charm and Lucky Charm cereal.
Oh my.
What?
And in this, it lays out the official marshmallow powers of Lucky. So these are all based off of the sort of standard marshmallows in the cereal. So hearts give the power to bring things to life. In one commercial, he brought a forest to life as like Ents. The shooting stars give the power to fly. Horseshoes give the power to speed things up. So at one point, he used them to like run really fast. Green clovers, the power they give is just luck, but you never know what kind of luck you will get, which is kind of just a catch-all for like bad luck genie wishes, I guess. Blue moons give the power of invisibility. Rainbows give instantaneous travel from place to place. Balloons give the power to make things float. Now this one sounds pretty lame.
No, this one's gonna be good. I think this one's gonna be good.
It actually, there's a commercial where he basically just attaches these large red balloons to a chunk of the ground and ripped the entire chunk of the ground out and flew off on it. So it's pretty strong. And then the one that was added in this press release, the hourglass, gives the power to control time. As in, stop time, reverse time, travel through time.
Lucky might be a little OP.
Lucky might be a little OP.
Lucky's like the DLC guy that they didn't quite balance, but they wanted to make him good so people would buy it.
Right, yeah. There's also been some other like limited time marshmallows that I don't always know like the powers they give, but we can sort of, extrapolate a little bit. A couple we do know. Pots of gold. He once made a pot of gold with one and then got stuck in it and careened down a mountain. So that's not maybe the most useful. He also once used them to just make really bright light. Like, it's not like there was something else that was happening, I understand. He literally says, pot of gold, like, make bright light. Like, that, he says that in the commercial. So I guess that does that. I don't know.
Powers! Just put it on the list.
There was a skeleton key one. There was like a marshmallow that looked like a door, and then when you put it in milk, the door part melted away and there was a key left. There was a whale, so something with whales. Unfortunate for Marcus, there were hats.
Wait, what?
He can control hats?
He can apparently do something with hats, maybe? I don't know. There are hat marshmallows.
Well, Ben, just a second you try. It's not my hat. It's now a fishing pole.
There was a series of around the world ones with like the pyramids and Eiffel Tower and Golden Gate Bridge and the Alps. There were a bunch of like holiday related ones. There were race cars. There were crystal balls. And then there was a spooky one that had, because apparently everyone can control ghosts, cauldron, spell books, and sort of unfortunate for Chris, bats. So once again, don't know exactly what these are entailing, but there at least is some sway there as well, probably.
But I'm not a bat, I'm a vampire.
But you can turn into a bat.
Getcha.
A couple other powers that came up. Once he put a star-shaped hole through the moon. I want to be perfectly clear when I say this. I don't mean he made a star-shaped crater in the moon. I mean there was a hole in the shape of a star that you could see space on the other side of the moon through.
That seems problematic for the Earth.
Is he like a Super Saiyan?
I don't know. Well, we're gonna get to this.
Yeah, can we go back from like Boo Saga Lucky and go back to like Raditz Saga Lucky?
well, I'm gonna get to that. So he also apparently has the ability to make illusion copies of himself by throwing down the clover, where he can like throw it down and make like an illusionary double that disappears when it gets touched. But he can like that one can throw down and make a double as well, so he can just make like a bunch of doubles and disguise which one he is. I mean, he can also turn invisible, so that one's not super relevant, but he can do it. Similarly, there was a time where he flew through a rainbow and made a version of himself for every color of the rainbow. And unlike the illusions, those ones seem to be able to interact with things. So I guess there's like 7 of him. He once summoned a pair of magic hands that could apparently use all of his same magic, but it also then like, he was using it to like grow the marshmallows, and the marshmallows got too big and like blew up the house he was in.
So he's clumsy.
Well, yeah.
So he's gonna fuck himself over, and we're gonna have to jump.
He has all these powers, but he doesn't necessarily use them to his advantage.
There are definitely some cons I will get to. He once turned, and this one's kind of weird, he once turned a frog into a spaceship.
As you do, as one does.
As you do. He also just once, out of nothing, made a rocket and flew to Mars, and he sort of survived on Mars without any sort of consequence, and then fed Martians Lucky Charms. I don't know, but he can go to space. I don't know, man. But yeah, there are some cons. So he definitely seems a little dumb/clumsy. In early commercials, particularly, he spent a lot of time just like the kids were coming up and he would just like make a bike or like a hang glider, and that was kind of it. So I don't think he really understands the scale of his powers necessarily.
Yeah, funnily, the Wikipedia article for Captain Crunch claims, based on crunchfacts.com, that Captain Crunch has a perfect IQ of 200. Now, I was like, what the fuck is, like, Quaker Oats just blasting random nonsense out there and making it canon? Like, is the joke of Captain Crunch that he's, like, ridiculously awesome, which was my hope. But no, it was based, like, actually looking into it was basically kind of like a troll-ish website where they just, like, did all over-exaggerate stuff, but it was not Quaker Oats, so I didn't count it as canon. And the way they arrived at the conclusion he had a 200 IQ was that Captain Crunch is a timeless being, and somewhere in the IQ equation, age is like at the top or the bottom of like a fraction.
So it technically goes to infinite.
And therefore makes his IQ infinite. And then they just said, for simplicity, we'll use the top end of the scale.
So that applies to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Except Lucky, because obviously he's an idiot.
Right. Well, also, a thing with Lucky, he does frequently get captured or like barely get away from children. So I feel like, I mean...
And Marcus has children.
I have children,
This is true. They're clearly his greatest nemesis. So that's kind of what... So Lucky is kind of infinite cosmic power. Maybe not all the way there on the best ways to use it.
Okay, so...
Actually, before we get started, I want to point out that as I was doing my research, once I finished the Count Chocula stuff, I started to do like a little research on you guys, but then I kind of got lazy and stopped. But one of the things I wrote down for Captain Crunch, and I don't remember why I wrote this down, so I wrote no more than 20 guns for Captain Crunch. I have no idea what that means.
Was this maybe a limitation on how many guns I could put on my boat?
It could be.
I don't know.
That would make sense.
Maybe, or like, how did I come to 20 guns?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a mystery.
And then I have one thing for Lucky Charms. Like, on the bottom of my notes, it just says, Lucky Charms makes shoes.
Were you drunk?
I have no idea why I wrote that. But anyway, let's get to the fight.
Yeah, so first off, we gotta set the stage. So we needed a battleground that would accommodate 1, my boat, 2, vampires, so it's gotta be nighttime, and 3, a leprechaun, so we gotta have a rainbow.
It's not necessary, but it just seems appropriate.
So we decided that we need land and ground, so we're gonna be on the shore at night, and the thing that we learned existed is a moon rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is awesome.
So this is our battleground. So we all have all our powers. I'm on my boat. I got my crew. So here's the thing. First off, Chris, you have a lot of weaknesses as a vampire.
This is true.
Yeah. It's not great for me. It's especially against Lucky Charms.
I don't know if the pot of gold light is equivalent to sunlight, but that would be problematic. I'm gonna say it's probably. I don't know, because then that's just like a one shot right there.
So I think the first thing that Count Chocula would do is he'd use his crystal ball to like do reconnaissance on you guys.
All right. So yeah. So you would see that I'm on my boat. I have my kids armed with wooden swords because they are basically just wooden stakes. Maybe they're shaved down to a fine point. And then I guess guns on the other hand, because why the fuck not?
I mean, you have the wooden stakes, but you actually have to stab me.
Yeah, I would have to get you and stab you.
You'd have to get close to me.
And then the captain's gonna have his wooden sword. And did I talk about the crunchoscope?
No, I don't think so.
What is that?
How did I forget that? Okay, this is like the fucking main thing from the commercials that you'll remember once I say it. Basically, the way Captain Crunch works is he blasts onto the scene with his boat, and the kids go, "Crunchitize me, Captain!" And he points his looking glass at them. And then they are teleported into, like, Captain Crunch reality.
What?
So, like, they turn, like, usually it's a live action, like, kids that are like, we're at the museum with our class. It's like, and they're talking about cavemen, like, I wish I could just eat some some Captain Crunch cereal.
Lucky Charms is winning. It's infiltrating.
And then it's like, you just hear the whistle, like the doo-wee-oo. And then the ship bursts onto the scene. And they're like, "Crunchitize me, Captain," and then they fade into like
Cartoon
the
land.
past, and the kids are riding dinosaurs, and like the teacher is like gets eaten by a T-Rex or something. One thing you'll have to worry about from the captain's thing is that if he gets you in his sights of the telescope, you're basically fucked because he can pull you into his reality, which could be a place where it's a sunny day, or it could be a place where there's no rainbows or marshmallows.
That does complicate things. So the problem I run into is that I feel like Lucky is going to have trouble actually like initiating violence. I don't think that's just the thing that he would do. Like, I don't think that he like considers that a possibility.
So I think he could. So you'd see like Count Chocula and Captain Crunch fighting, and just be like, "Ooh, they're fighting," and just like watch.
Right. I think he would assume that they're after his Lucky Charms.
Ah, okay.
Because I feel like that's generally what he does to like literally any stimulus. Is assume they're after his Lucky Charms.
I mean, at least I think for what we're doing, I think he should just have the motivation. Like, maybe we stole his gold, or
what if you actually stole the Lucky Charms?
Oh, so now we're in a
he's
position
making it
where
personal.
we have each stolen half of Lucky's not marshmallows.
We stole Lucky Shrooms.
I think there's some leprechaun magic going on because I keep saying the wrong words vis-a-vis Lucky Charms. So here's my thing, Ben. I have lots of eyes on my ship.
I can turn invisible.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because the weakness of the leprechaun in general, and I'm not sure if you came across this, is that the leprechaun's one weakness is the steady, unmoving stare of a human.
What?
As, like, in Wikipedia and, like, all the other I did a little bit of leprechaun research, and all the leprechaun stuff I saw is, like, the way to beat a leprechaun is you fucking stare him down, and he has to, like, stop and, like, either give you his gold or try to cut a deal with you.
Interesting.
But unfortunately, you do have that invisibility power, so I'm not quite sure where this goes from here.
So it just depends on if you're invisible from the start or not.
He can also apparently just teleport instantaneously. So, like, and stop time. I feel...
Can we say that he can only use one power at a time?
Yes, this is true, yeah. I think this is actually, as far as I can tell, true in the commercials as well.
So if he's teleporting, let's say he hypothetically teleports onto the ship.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be visible for a little bit, because he can't use invisibility while he's teleporting.
Right. He can also just stop time and go onto the ship.
Hmm.
Also, I feel like in my mind, what I want to do is use the balloon's power to just like rip the ship up out of the water and then just eventually drop it.
That could be problematic for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a balloon. I got pointy shit. I got swords. I can poke it.
but they're marshmallow balloons. I think they're still actually marshmallows. I don't really know how it works. Marshmallow magic is confusing.
You know, I think I'm okay to concede the point that you could make my ship.
I think what it comes down to is that if Lucky were to actually put his mind to it, he would 100% win. He's just too powerful. But I don't think he's capable of putting his mind to something aside from protecting his lucky charms.
I think we can both agree that Chris is not winning.
Yeah, Chris is not winning this.
So I think my main tactic would probably be to like separate the kids on your ship.
Sounds really creepy.
Sounds creepy. But I'd try to bite one of them because then they would be on my side.
But they're not full of chocolate.
Oh, that's
You're not
true.
Dracula. You said this.
Well, I'm not. I mean, that's not like what vampires do. They don't. Yes, they are sucking the blood, but if they bite them, it's not the blood that turns them, is it?
I think it depends on the vampire mythology. Sometimes it's like a blood swap.
There is a hilarious chart of vampire mythology on Wikipedia where there's like y-axis is all the different things that vampires are in, and the x-axis is all the different weaknesses of vampire, and it's just like a yes-no list of which weaknesses apply in which fictions. And like apparently one big one is like just they have OCD, so you can defeat vampires by like making them count something.
Yeah, you just drop noodles on the floor or something. They're like, oh shit, you gotta like I can't just wait right there. I have to count these.
Also, I don't think that Chris can ever defeat the leprechaun because the leprechaun's only weakness is the stare of a human, and you're not a human.
Oh, that's true.
I guess if he turns a kid, if he turns a kid and gets the kid to do it.
Yeah. So I think I'd probably send ghosts and my spider at your boat. I'd stand like at the base of your ship and you wouldn't really know I'm there. And I would try to scare the kids off of the boat and they would jump into the water and I'd grab one of them and bite them.
That's actually a pretty good plan.
Okay. So how about we do it this way? Instead of trying to come to like a universal winner, because there's a lot of what ifs, a lot of hypotheticals here. This may be the most hypothetical dense question we've ever done. What if we gave a win percentage to each of our answers as we go?
I like that. I like that idea.
So Chris is going to first scare a kid off my boat, turn the kid into a vampire.
Yes.
Use the vampire to get the leprechaun by having the kid stare at the leprechaun, and then I guess can turn the remainder of the kids to turn on the captain.
Well, if I can turn Lucky, then I think I can beat the captain very easily.
Oh.
That's true.
So I'm not killing people, I'm turning them to my side.
Got it.
That's true. I think that's the main route to victory there. And we have established that Lucky is very easily catchable by small children.
Yeah. Children are his weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Captain's route to victory is basically, I'm not worried about the vampire as much, because from the bow of my ship, I can see, a bat or a vampire coming. I think you'd have to fly over as a bat.
Yeah.
And I think
I can walk on water, but I mean,
or walk on water, however you want to do it.
But I have like distractions and stuff, so
yeah, I think I could fairly easily get you for an instant in my crunchoscope and crunchitize, and bring you to the daytime paradise.
And that's just kind of game over.
And I think that would just be game over, because sunlight is one of the big ones. And also, once he's in the crunchitize zone, he can, lift his arms and, create mountains and, fucking put, the bad guys often show up, tied up already in the other world. So I think the crunchoscope is game over. And then it's just a matter of having enough eyes to see Lucky. So if I can get any of my kids or myself to see Lucky the Leprechaun, then I'm okay.
I would argue that he is frequently seen by children in the commercials and does not seem to be stopped, but he is 100% OP without any kind of weakness, so.
Then the other thing is, I have one, I guess, trick up my sleeve, which I'll use here. So you say you use your balloons to destroy my boat.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would probably hear something like an alarm coming from deep under the ocean. Because in one particular commercial where Captain Crunch was fighting the interplanetary, what the fuck did they call them? Soggies? They called them Soggies that would try to make the cereal soggy.
gross.
He literally just takes off out of fucking nowhere in a giant Gundam suit space version of himself.
That's amazing. Oh, I actually remember that.
So Captain Crunch is a giant space robot. So that would be my backup if something happens to my ship.
Lucky did once blow a hole in the moon, remember?
Yeah, so we could have an epic space battle, which would involve, I guess it would be decided by whether my giant Gundam would be able to survive a star-shaped hole in its body.
I guess during all of this, Lucky is flying around in his frog ship or whatever, so...
Yeah, so that's where I'm going. I think even if I crunchitize you, I think you have enough powers that it would be like an even crazy Harry Potter magic battle where we're both like manipulating the landscape and like throwing fucking giant hills at each other and volcanoes and all that crazy shit. So
Okay, so that's Marcus's path to victory.
yeah, I guess I have a kid catch percentage and maybe like a slightly less than 50-50 shot in a crunchitize situation.
So what's Lucky's path to victory?
So I would say there's about a 50% chance that he just like does something that's like immediate victory, and a 50% chance that he turns a couple of logs into an old horse. Which is something else they did in the commercial once. Or something about that level. I think that's kind of what it comes down to, is that he's basically, you know how there's like sort of like the fantasy trope of like crazy wizard who is incredibly powerful but just sort of like randomly does stuff and half the time it's like useless or actively harmful? I think that's kind of him. So I think it's basically a coin flip.
Okay.
Yeah, like I can't if you go invisible, it negates both my crunchitize power and my kids seeing you. And yeah, how would I find you? I have a sonar.
Actually, wait, hold on. Are both of you? Wait, I have a good one. What company created both of your cereals? It's
Quaker Oats.
Are they both Quaker Oats?
I think mine's General Mills, I think.
Oh, yours General Mills? Damn. Okay.
I
Well,
have to double check that.
so at least for Captain Crunch, Lucky can go back in time. So he can go back in time and stop Quaker Oats from ever being created.
I don't think that Quaker Oats is in the same universe as Captain Crunch.
I mean, if the company doesn't exist, the mascot can't exist.
The mascot can't exist.
I'm just saying.
You just make a couple subtle changes that Captain Crunch never actually pursues his dream of becoming a sea captain, and he just works at an office instead.
Exactly, yeah. He's actually like Calculator Crunch, and he's just like a really good accountant.
Yeah, so I guess if you're invisible, I have a chance with my sea dog could smell you, and I have a sonar.
If I stop time, you're just boned. If I teleport, you're probably just boned.
So we've laid out our plans. Do you want to vote on who we think would win? We can't vote for ourselves.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I will vote for Lucky.
Ben?
I think I will go with Captain Crunch.
Okay, so I cannot win.
I will say that I kind of almost feel like we have... So there's a part of me that feels like it's almost a rock, paper, scissors situation, because I like your turn a kid idea. I feel like that actually has some legs. I like the situation where you can defeat Captain Crunch, and then a lot of the time Captain Crunch will defeat Lucky, but then pretty much always Lucky will defeat Count Chocula.
Right.
So I would put it, let's say 50% chance that Lucky would just immediately win with time travel.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any recourse for that.
Nope.
I think, given not that 50% chance, Captain Crunch maybe has a 35% and then a 15% chance for Count Chocula. So I'm saying 50 for Lucky, 35 for Captain Crunch, 15 for Count Chocula.
That's actually the same proportion that I was thinking too.
Chris, consensus, or do you think you're higher?
I think I'm a little higher.
30-20?
This isn't personal, Chris. This is not about you are Count Chocula. It's, man, you can't even use the leprechaun weakness. You're not a human.
Yeah, but I can get a human.
I also do feel like the turning Lucky is a scenario that is...
Yeah, if I can turn one of you, then I'm good.
So what do you?
I don't think I would win. I wouldn't say I'm 50%, but I think I'm higher than 15%.
So is it like 50, 30, 20? Or are
I would say
Crunch
that,
and Chocula even?
Yeah, I'd say Captain Crunch and Chocula are even, and then Lucky is 50.
I could buy that.
I just I think my Crunchitize is too strong against the Count Chocula.
The reason that I would buy the even percentages is the possibility of turning Lucky.
The thing is, you say that you can crunchitize me or whatever it's called, but I have distractions, so I can send ghosts and I can send my spider, and then I can just sneak onto the water. I have telekinesis too, so I can use obstacles to block me.
My kids are pretty good fighters though, and they're battle hardened. I'll go 50, 30, 20. That's my
That's your final offer.
That's your final offer.
Or else what?
Or else I'm going to go back to 50, 35, 15 and just disagree with you.
Well,
I will
okay.
also throw my admiral's hat behind 50, 30, 20.
Fine.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Lucky overpowered fucking crazy.
Yep, nerf Lucky.
If Lucky had a different personality, he would probably be 95%?
Oh yeah.
Like something has to go horribly wrong.
It's basically he's basically Superman in all the like who would win a fight questions, except that it's not that he's really nice, it's just that he's kind of dumb. Yeah,
exactly. It's like whenever you talk about like Superman or like Goku, where it's like, yeah, they would win a fight, like, but if they were actually fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I think I'm surprised we came even that close on an agreement, within 5-10% points. Let's see if we can do just as well on next week's questions. What if everything was voice activated? And how would you escape Alcatraz? If you have any questions, comments, or your own hypothetical idea you want us to answer, let us know. You can reach us by email at absurdhypotheticals@gmail.com, send us a tweet at absurdhype, that's HYPE hype, visit our website, www.nerdchomp.com/absurdhypotheticals, and if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps out the show and lets us keep making it for you.